All right, so let's review. We can use the x method to solve this because our a value is equal to 1. How do I know my a value is equal to 1? Because these trinomials are written in standard form like this, where a is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant. So someone tell me what to put in my x. What do I put in my x? What do I do? All right, so the top is -5 and the bottom is -6. And I'm trying to figure out what two numbers would add to get me -5, but multiply to get -6. Now, middle school and high school did the same thing where you rush your thinking and you're like, oh, -2, -3. But you have to realize it's multiplying to give you a negative. So that tells you one number must be positive, one number must be negative. Okay, so keep that in mind. So what I always like to do is I like to write out the factors of the C value. And since I know it adds to give me a negative number, I know the bigger number would have to be negative. So what two numbers would add to get me -5, but multiply to give me -6? +1 and -6. So x plus 1, x minus 6. How many of y'all got that? All right. Half of us. All right. You just put no, it doesn't. You can put -6 and +1. It doesn't matter which side you put it on. Yeah. So A would here be the answer. Okay. My suggestion: take your time. Try it out. And how can I check my answer? I could FOIL this back out and see if that would give me my original answer. So x plus 1 times x minus 6, x squared, 1x, -6x, -6, x squared minus 5x minus 6. So that gives me my original trinomial, so I know I have the right answer. Take the time to make sure it's correct. All right, so last class, good morning. Last class, we just did it when our a value equaled 1. This class, we're doing it when our a value is greater than 1. So we're not using the x method. We're using a different method this time. Perez, does this look familiar? That's the right answer.
No, it did.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I understand. So ax squared plus bx plus c. What if a is a value greater than 1? For example, 4x squared plus 6x plus 2, 3x squared plus 4x plus 3. Here my a values are greater than 1. So we're gonna have to use a different method. We can't use the x method anymore. Okay, so I'm gonna show a video. 1, it helps me remember, and 2, it'll be beneficial. Probably. What in the world? Jaden, can you see this? Can you see my screen where it says lesson plan January 15th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's not showing my green square, so I don't know what you can see right now. Can you see me getting on YouTube right now?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. But it's not like I can like move it over here and it's still, oh, now it doesn't. Never mind. Just kidding. Okay. All right, so she's gonna go really, really fast. Okay, so don't worry. We're gonna break this down. We're gonna break this down slowly. Okay, but I just want you to get an idea of how to do it. Now, let me explain something. For those of you who were really going fast last class, this time it gets a little bit more complicated. You're gonna need, and there's some steps to this. Okay, so I really need you to focus.
Grammarly does more than
Thanks, Grammarly.
With Grammarly, you can find really good.
Bye-bye, Grammarly.
Hi, my name is Maria, I'm a mathematician, and today I'm going to show you the AC splitting middle term method for factoring trinomials. So if I have the trinomial 6x squared plus 7x minus 3, I can't factor this with the regular product of the sum method because my leading coefficient is not 1. So what we do is we take the product, which is going to be A times C, the lead coefficient times the constant. So my product is negative 18, and my sum will always be the coefficient of x, so it's 7. So I'm looking for two numbers whose product is 18 and whose sum is 7. The easiest way to find these two numbers is to start by listing the factors of 18. So I have 1 and 18, I have 6 and 3, I have 9 and 2, and I know that some combination of 9 and 2 is what's going to work. So I need a negative product and a positive sum. The only way to get one of these two numbers to be negative. So in order for me to get a positive 7, the negative number is going to have to be the 2. Okay? So I found my two numbers that are going to work. What I do now is I split this middle term into those two numbers. So I'm going to rewrite this as 6x squared, and instead of writing 7x, I'm going to write plus 9x minus 2x, and then bring down your minus 3. Because this is the same thing. 9x minus 2x is still 7x, so I'm allowed to do that. Now what happens is I factor by grouping. So these first two terms, looking for a GCF to factor out, and then I'm looking at these last two terms. So the GCF of my first two terms is going to be 3x. And when I factor out a 3x, I'm left with, how do I get from 3 to 6? They're multiplying by 2. And how do I get from x to x squared? I need another x. Plus, how do I get from 3x to 9x? I need to multiply by 3. Next two terms. The GCF here of 2x and my negative 3 is just a 1. And I'm going to put minus 1 out here. You'll see why in a second. I'm going to open up a parentheses. How do I get from negative 1 to 2x? I need to multiply by 2x. And how do I get from negative 1 to negative 3? I need to multiply by positive 3. Now, we've achieved our goal of getting the same fact as two parentheses. And the reason we needed that is because now we're going to factor out a 2x plus 3. And when we factor out 2x plus 3, we're left with 3x minus 1. And so I have the factored version of 6x squared plus 7x. My name is Marie.
Okay, so do y'all see all those steps? Okay, so if you're not a note taker, I suggest you take notes. Okay, all right, bye Perez, I need you to go, babe. Okay, so, yay. Okay, so this ain't no walk in the park. This actually takes some note taking here. All right, so we're gonna work on factoring these, okay? That's all we're doing today is factoring these problems.
What do we title our notes?
Factoring. All right. So everyone write down 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. I can't even do these in my head, so I know you can't do them in your head. 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. Bye, Perez. 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. We're using the method called the AC splitting method. I prefer this method. You do not. You can go Google and YouTube another one if you want to, but this is just my preference. Okay. So these are the steps right here. Okay. First, we need to make sure we understand what A, B, and C are. What is the A value in this trinomial? 3. What is the B value? -2. And what is the C value? -5. Okay, that sign in front is important. So the AC splitting method says, I want the product of A and C. So product means multiplication. So A times C. So what is 3 times -5? -15. So I want the product of -15. And I want the sum of my B term, which is -2. Okay, so our product is A times C, and our sum is always the B term. So I'm trying to figure out what numbers multiply to get me -15, but add to get me -2. Even if you know, hold on. Take the time out to write the factors of 15. So that's 1 and 15, 3 and 5. So I know that the combination of these has to give me a negative number. So I know one number must be positive and one number must be negative. Since they're adding to get me -2, I know the bigger number must be the negative. So which two numbers would add to get me -2? 3 and -5. Now, back in what we did last class, we were done at this point, right? Oh, x plus 3, x minus 5. But this is different because our a is greater than 1. I have a little bit more to do. So I'm going to write out my trinomial again. 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. Once we find our two numbers, we're going to split our middle term. So I like to draw arrows to split my middle term. So it'll be 3x squared. Then I'm going to take what I have here, plus 3x minus 5x minus 5. The reason I can split this is because it gives me the same thing. Positive 3x and negative 5x combined would give me -2x. So I have not changed my trinomial. It's the same thing. I just split my middle term. Am I going too fast? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna pause. All right. From here, after splitting my middle term, I'm going to group my first two numbers together and my last two numbers together. So I always draw something to show that I'm grouping what I'm grouping together. From here, I'm looking to find out what the greatest common factor is in my group. So what goes into both 3x squared and 3x? Okay, there's something higher. 3x. 3x goes into both 3x squared and 3x. So I'm going to write 3x out here on the side. And then put parentheses. 3x times what will give me 3x squared? 1 what? 1x, right? Because I got to get an x squared. So 1x. 3x times what would give me 3x? 1. Just the 1. So x plus 1. I still have not changed anything because if I distributed this, this would give me 3x squared plus 3x. With this group right here, what is the greatest common factor? What goes into both -5x and -5? -5. not negative 5x because this one does not have an x on it. So negative 5. So now I'm trying to figure out what I would multiply by to get this right here. So negative 5 times what would give me negative 5x? X or 1x. And negative 5 times what would give me negative 5? Positive 1. What is your goal? Your goal is to get the same thing in both parentheses. If you have the same thing in both parentheses, you're good. If you don't, you need to go back and figure out what happened. So from here, I just take what's not in the parentheses. So the 3x minus 5 is one factor. And what is in parentheses? The x plus 1. And these are my two factors. Three x minus 5 and x plus 1. And I can always check my answer by multiplying this out. That will give me 3x squared minus 2x minus 5, which is our original answer. All right, that was a lot. What do y'all think? More examples, right? Of course, no problem.
Miss Patterson,
Yes,
could you pause just for like 3 seconds?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, Miss Patterson, I'm good.
Okay, am I able to move on? Gosh, Girl Scout cookies are expensive this year. $5. I remember when they used to be like $3, $2.75, $5. All right, let's do another example. Go ahead and write this one down. 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. All right, so what's my A term? Just the 3. Just the 3. Just the 3. Yes, just the coefficient. What's my B term? Negative 8. And what's my C term? 4. All right, so my product, I need to find the product of A and C. So 3 times 4 would give me 12. So this P is the product of A and C. And the sum of negative 8. So the sum is my B value. So I'm trying to figure out what two numbers would multiply to get me positive 12, but add to get me negative 8. If I know that they're multiplying to get me a positive, but adding to get me a negative, what do I know about my two numbers? They're both going to be negative. So I'm going to list out my factors of 12. Bless you. So what two numbers would multiply to get me positive 12 but add to get me negative 8? Beautiful.
Miss Patterson,
Yes.
why can't they both be positive?
Because they have to add to get a negative. So two positives wouldn't add to get a negative.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they were positive 2, positive 6, that would just be positive 8. Yeah. Thank you for asking. So I'm going to rewrite my trinomial, 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. And I'm going to split my middle term. So turn into 3x squared minus 2x minus 6x plus 4. And the reason I can do this is because negative 2x and negative 6x would combine to give me negative 8x. May I move forward? Okay, so I'm going to group my first two terms and group my last two terms. And I'm trying to figure out what the greatest common factor is for 3x squared and negative 2x. What goes into both 3x squared and negative 2x? Factors, not multiples, factors. X, 1x, right? 1 goes into 3x squared, 1x goes into 3x squared, and 1 goes into 2x. So I'm going to write a 1x out here. One x times what will give me 3x squared? 3x. 1x times what will give me negative 2x? Negative 2. So remember, your goal is to get the same thing in the second parentheses. So let's keep that in mind. So let's look at our second group. Negative 6x plus 4. What goes into both negative 6x and positive 4? 2. Oh, thanks. I'm gonna write negative 2, and you'll see why in a moment. So remember, our goal is to get the same thing in the second parentheses. So if I didn't write negative 2 here, this number would have been negative. And I don't want it negative, I want it positive, okay? So negative 2 times what will give me negative 6x? 3x, And negative 2 times what will give me positive 4? Negative 2. So did we have the same thing in both parentheses? Yes. So my two factors are the things that are outside the parentheses, x minus 2, and 3x minus 2, which is the thing that was in the parentheses. Beautiful. So I'm glad Alexa said that. Some of you, I'm surprised I hadn't got this question yet. Some of you might be wondering, well, what if I put negative 6x first instead of negative 2x? Would that change your answer? No, it should not change your answer. You should still get the same two factors. So what I just said was, could I have written it 3x squared minus 6x minus 2x plus 4? And yes, you could have. And I would have gave you the same thing. All right. Y'all think y'all can do one on your own? Yeah, of course. numbers. All right, let's see. We're not doing all these. I'll just have plenty of examples. We're not doing all these. All right. Look, do it. Do it. I guess. Yes, I will come look in a moment. What in the world did I just write? You think you got it? Good. I definitely don't know the answer. Maybe I should do it. Yeah, there shouldn't be any negatives in this one. So just remember, your goal is to have the same thing in both of the parentheses. So that will help guide you when you're thinking about your greatest common factor. I realized I was mouthing stuff, and I was like, you can't even see my mouth. Yes. Okay. I have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's a ventriloquist and he has a puppet dummy thing called Peanut. He's really funny.
Good, except right here, this should be a 2x at the front. Because 1 times x wouldn't give you 2x squared. So it should be 2x.
Well, I'm not even done. I'm just making sure I'm
But then everything else is right, yeah. So there should be a 2x at the front.
academically challenged, so.
You're not academically challenged. Put an x right here It's
Okay.
1x.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you're good. Keep
Oh my
going.
God, I did that.
I'm thinking.
You're thinking. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and start explaining. So the two factors that would multiply to get me 10 but add to get me 11 is 1 and 10. So I think everyone got to that point. So 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. I'm going to split my middle term. So 2x squared plus 1x plus 10x plus 5. And I'm going to go ahead and group my first two terms and my last two terms. Now, remember, if you wrote it 2x squared plus 10x plus 1x, that is fine. Okay, if you flip these, that's fine. You'll still get the same answer. Your just grouping will look different and your factors will look different. So 2x squared plus x. Oh, no, I might need to look at yours again. I might have told you the wrong thing. 2x squared plus x. X is the greatest common factor. The 2 should go inside the parenthesis. That's what I messed up on. So that would be x times what would give me 2x squared? 2x. And x times what would give me x? 1. And then what is the greatest common factor between 10x and 5? 5. So 5 times what would give me 10x? 2x. 5 times what would give me 5? 1. Remember, your goal is to get the same thing in both parentheses. So that's also how I knew that 5 was my greatest common factor, because I knew it should multiply to give 5 times 2x should give me 10x, and 5 times 1 should give me 5. So my two factors were x plus 5 and 2x plus 1. Okay? All right, ask me questions. Ask me questions. If you're not getting this, you're not understanding, please ask me some questions. Yeah, it's literally the only reason like I'm so fast at this because I've done this for so long. I know the steps quickly. I didn't even learn it this way. I never did it this way. I did it like guess and check style when I was younger. Or this is what I would do. I would draw my box and I knew it had to multiply to give me 2x squared and 5. And so I know I had to have a 2x and an x. And I'm like, oh, I know I have to have a 5 multiply to give me 5. So I knew one would have to be 5 and the other one would have to be 1. So that's how I used to do it. Obviously, I did not expect you to learn anything from what I just said. It was just showing you that I did it a completely different way when I was y'all's age. All right, we're going to try one more. We're going to just do one more, and then we'll get to today's assignment. So try this one on your own. Let me make sure it works. Oh, I'm glad you did not go ahead. That would have sucked. What, love? I should probably do a attendance. So. So you do not have to listen. I'm just gonna go ahead and start talking about it though. You want to find the product of A and C. A times C will give me 8, the sum of 6. So finding what two numbers would add to get you 6, but multiply to give you 8. You should have gotten 2 and 4. Hopefully I'm not going past anybody. Hopefully everyone got to that point. I'm gonna split my middle term. 4x squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 2. Again, if you wrote it the other way around, you will still get the same answer because I actually wrote it the other way when I did it on my work. So you should still get the same answer. So I'm going to group my two terms. Actually, so this one actually, and you will not get this. You will not get one like this on the test. This one actually is going to have a different answer when I do this. Okay, let me show you why. The greatest common factor here is 2x. So that would give me 2x plus 1. And the greatest common factor here is also 2x. Oops. So that would give me 2x plus 1. Okay, and this is not the original answer I got, 2x. Why did I put 2x right here? It's just 2, yeah. My bad. So that gave me 2x plus 2 and 2x plus 1. However, I'm going to do this in a different color. If I had written it as something different, so if I would have done 4x squared plus 4x plus 2x plus 2, like Alexa and me did, when you group them, that would have gave you 4x and x plus 1. And this would have gave you 2x plus 1, giving you two factors of 4x plus 2 and x plus 1. Both of these answers are correct. You will not get one like this on the test. Okay, so you could have got either one of these answers and they would have been correct. You got that? Good. Cool. Awesome. So this one, it did depend on which order you put it on, but again, I'm not the test maker and I didn't look at both options here, but you will not get one like this.